Who are the MythBusters? Martin Tribble and Thomas Sasso. They reenact 18th, 19th, and 20th century combat. Thomas has been reenacting for many years. Both bring plenty of experience and what to do and not to do in camp on the battlefield. Kathy Tribble, our military company seamstress and tailor and camp cooking expert. Josh Tribble, our safety officer, who plenty of the safety rules are written for. Zhang Tribble, our musician, weapons expert, and comic relief. On this episode of MythBusters, we will test Revolutionary War reenactment safety tips. Fire safety in camp, fabric safety around the fire, safety with bladed weapons including tomahawks, bayonets, and musket safety.
We might just be amateurs, but don't try this at home or at camp.
Fire safety rules we will test include fire pit design, trash in the fire pit, powder cartridges in the fire pit, flammable clothing near the fire pit, and putting out the fire with too much water.
In camp, even if you're not involved in cooking, you need to be aware of the fire pit. We dig a fire pit to get down to the dirt, which obviously does not burn because the grass will burn. We put an edge around it to try and keep the fire contained and keep a water bucket nearby at all times in case the grass gets in it.
Whoa.
That's a lot.
Whoa. Are my eyebrows still intact? So, do we need to dig a fire pit?
Okay, that's why we have a water bucket.
I think that is confirmed. Where's the water? Who's got the water?
Don't do it.
A little bit on the edge.
Thank you.
All right.
For our next myth, we're going to demonstrate to see if it's safe enough to put trash over the fire.
So the two problems here are it smothers the fire and it causes smoke, plus we don't want you playing with the fire if you're not cooking.
Alright, this is the next section of what not to put in the fire and what not to do in camp for your safety and for everyone's safety. So if you guys will please kindly not do this. That was anticlimactic.
Okay, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, what do you think? Well, will you completely blow yourself up at the fire if you throw a powder cartridge in there?
Negative.
Myth busted. However, is it safe to throw a powder cartridge in there?
Negative.
No, I think that rule, do not throw a cartridge in there, is in fact confirmed, plausible. What could happen? What could go wrong?
Well, I was going to say, I think that rule's more for if you have a cartridge box like this, you have a bunch of cartridges and it's all compact in there, then it could really explode if you walk by the fire with black powder.
And definitely, myth busted. Don't do it.
Can you explain to which fabric is which?
So what we have here, cotton, hardly anything happened. Linen, hardly anything. Wool, scorched, but hardly anything. Synthetic, it immediately went right through and melted a hole. If that was your skin underneath, this would not be good. And that is why we don't wear synthetics in camp, because even the part that's caught on these is just turning to ash, and it's going to be fine. You'll dust it off, it won't be great, but it's not going to melt to your skin like the synthetic would. because this is still sizzling with synthetics stuck to the coal, which is what would be on your skin right now.
So, is it safe to wear synthetics in camp while you're tending a fire?
Confirmed. We do not wear synthetic anything in camp.
What are we doing here, boys?
Something you shouldn't do.
Like what?
The thing you told us to.
Lighting it on fire.
Are we playing with powder?
No.
Maybe.
So, okay, in all seriousness, Hal, you can put a little bit more on there. You have some powder residue. How could that happen at a reenactment?
Combat.
He said communist. Well, if you keep firing it over and over again, eventually the powder will melt down to, as you move.
Right,
It'll look like that all over the
less,
barrel.
instead of grains, you'll have a little bit more of just some residue. Is that still going to be explosive or at least burn? We'll find out.
For this next portion of the video, we're gonna show you why you should check yourself before going near the fire. So say you're like on a line during a battle and you didn't check yourself, you'll have powder residue from like constantly ripping the cartridge and all the cartridges going off. So we're gonna put it in the fire and see what happens.
I'll pick it up real quick. Go ahead and pick it up. And that's on fire. And
As you can see,
we're going to demonstrate why we have a water bucket nearby.
As you can see, this is burning like Anakin on Mustafire. Don't do it.
Now that didn't burn like that.
That didn't burn like that before. But
In the prior
we only
experiment.
Put coal on it, but
So
yeah,
is it
didn't burn that
confirmed?
God, it smells.
And it smells like sulfur? Yeah, a little bit. So
Yeah,
that's
I
the
can smell the
powder residue is going to make your clothes burn more. So stay away from the fire and make sure you're good and clear.
Don't be this guy.
Don't be him.
At the end of camp, obviously we need to put out the fire. You do not want to do this with water. If you have an emergency in camp, you do not want to put the fire out with water. Only around the edges when we got a little bit of grass burning, what you want to do is put it out with dirt, because that will smother the fire. Normally we let the fire burn down. This one hasn't burned down much, and we're going to do what you shouldn't do.
I think that's confirmed.
If that was hotter, that would have been much more explosive.
Okay. Plausible? Confirmed? Plausible, the rule is correct.
Confirmed, because if that fire had been burning all weekend, the heat would have been much more intense, deeper down into the soil, and it would have been a much more explosive steam cloud.
I'll buy that. For our weapon safety experiments, we will look at how much damage could our replica tomahawks, swords, and bayonets do, and a musket firing from different distances with just a powder blast, not a lead ball. Isn't he scary?
Tomahawk. In this segment, we're going to talk about bladed weapons. This is one of them. This is a tomahawk. This does not come out on the battlefield unless given orders to. You do not pull this out unless you're on a target range and you're throwing at targets.
Next, we're going to be talking about the bayonet, which is standardized. Everyone used them except the riflemen. The safety for this is you can't be more than 2 muzzle lengths away from each other. So about this distance with bayonets. And you can't take them out unless given specific orders to.
And lastly,
Talk about swords.
swords. Who carries those?
Officers and sergeants.
Good. Do we sword play like this? No. When do officers and sergeants draw them on the battlefield?
When they're giving a command.
Like what?
Make ready, take aim, fire.
Right. All right? And that's about it. When you're make sergeant, you will be given specific instruction about swords. And remember, in camp, on a display, we just don't touch them unless you're assigned to show weapons, and then we can show them to the public. Is the public allowed to touch bladed weapons?
No.
No.
Unless you have control.
So what about the tomahawk? Could that hurt skin or muscle? All right, Thomas, have at it. Let's see. Do we see a spot? Yeah, right there. Penetrated the skin enough to cause some bleeding, but that was a love tap. If he hit it harder, which we can't really do with this rig, that could have created some serious damage. Let's see your blade. How sharp is that blade?
Don't touch it. This is chicken.
This is pretty.
Don't touch it.
I know. It just barely. Kind of sharp. I'm not going to shave with it.
It's not really
But,
that sharp. They would have been sharper. This is a pretty bad tomahawk.
Yeah, and some of ours could be sharper, but don't touch the blade. You don't know how sharp they are. And yes, that can cut your skin. Go. Let's see. Yeah, there's a little bit of a slice. That could hurt. So, are the reenactment swords sharp enough to cut skin?
No.
Confirmed?
Well, yeah.
Confirmed. And now for the bayonet. Ooh, that could leave a mark. What do you think? Are bayonets dangerous? No, hold still. That isn't sharp. That isn't sharp. But that, ouch, that end is very sharp.
I don't know the triangle.
Let's try to retract that bayonet. Okay.
That's why I twisted.
And while we're talking about this, don't handle raw food in camp unless directed by an adult. Primarily, we'll do that, and we try to limit raw food. Let's look at. Okay, so.
Let's limit.
Oh yeah, there's nasty little wound through there. We do not want to play with tomahawks. Myth confirmed. No tomahawk. Or sorry, I said tomahawks. Try that again. Bayonets. Myth confirmed.
Chicken.
I think so.
Or chicken.
All right, everybody smile with the chicken. Remember, no chickens were harmed in the filming of this video. Thank you, Food Lion.
Not dead. They're already.
Private Zhang. So, what are the 3 basic weapons for all weapon safety rules?
Don't
Don't-
point at anything unless you intend to shoot it.
Right.
Keep your finger off of the trigger unless you intend to shoot. Treat every weapon as if it was real and loaded.
Right. So, and these, you can't check in the chamber like we would with modern firearms. So, you can't tell if it's loaded. Even if you dump powder, could the weapon still go off?
Yes.
Yep, we saw that in multiple places. So you
Unless you
always
put
keep the
water
weapon
through it.
pointed at a safe location. All right.
Fire no!
Nothing.
Fire no!
Nothing.
What do we think? Yeah, let's see. There's a little powder residue that. Yeah, just powder. If that was somebody's eyes, that would be pretty bad. What do you think, guys?
Gross.
Yeah. It moved. Let's look. Ooh, I see smoldering spot. Yeah.
You just breathed it in some.
Yummy. Smoked chicken for dinner. The first shot was at about 6 foot. This is at 3 foot. All right, this is less than 1 foot distance. Absolutely don't try this at home. What could happen if your weapon goes off? Maybe if you're looking over the barrel or some other really bad thing. Let's see if that actually could cause injury.
Fire low! Fire low!
Ouch. Okay.
Are you still filming in slow-mo?
Okay, what do you think about that experiment?
I think we're not eating that chicken.
I don't think so.
I mean, y'all can. I'm not.
Okay, so what do you think, Martin? Is it safe? It's just powder. It won't hurt somebody.
It barbecued the birds.
Not enough to make it safe to eat in terms of, we'll call this the salmonella rig, but that's pretty bad. I wouldn't want that anywhere on me. And now we come to pay our final respects to Bob the Tomato. Just kidding. No tomatoes will be harmed in the filming, as this also came from Food Lion. So actually, what is this experiment going to do for us, Thomas?
This experiment, as you know, a tomato is a lot more fragile than a chicken. So this is going to be parts where, you know, if you get shot point blank in maybe the neck or the face.
Okay.
So it's some more vulnerable parts of the body.
Make ready. Take aim.
Nothing!
All right, I'm shocked at about 4 feet. Watch the muzzle. The, yeah, nice smiley face, Martin. Well, there's powder residue all over it.
It's thick.
Some powder burns, maybe? It did not blow up.
You have to do it close.
I'm shocked.
Closer.
Well, at 3 feet, busted. We didn't get an explosion. I wouldn't want to have somebody shoot that at my face, though.
2, 1, go.
Make ready. Take aim. Make ready. Take aim. There's the parts of the tomato we can find. I think that's part of the, what was the face? That was the front part. You can see powder residue. Powder residue. Yeah, that was bad. That was about, what do you think, guys? 6 inches, maybe even 3 inches from the muzzle to that. So please do not look down the muzzle of the musket. It could be loaded, and this could hurt really bad.
It won't hurt. You'll be
So if the myth that it's black powder without a musket ball can't hurt you, myth busted. Can you agree?
Yeah.
Myth busted? All right.